Hello, welcome back to the video. Today is August 16th, 2021. Today I'm going to be going over the 2024 presidential election. I haven't made a election video recently, but I figured now it's a pretty good time to go over it since I'm going back to school soon. If you're new to this channel, I make election predictions, and I'm pretty good at them. Uh, I got the 2020 election 100% correctly. Like every single state I got correctly. I predicted the Senate, the Georgia, whatever. I'm good at it, okay? Just trust me. You can actually go back and look if you want. And that's your option. But now I'm going to go over the characteristics. Idaho, Wyoming, and Utah. The colors on them right now. This is solid red. That would mean 15 points or more for the Republican Party. This would mean likely red, which is 7 points or more for the Republican Party. This is 2 points or more, and this is under 2 points for the Republican Party. This is tilt. Uh, Same for the Democratic Party. There's 4 characterizations: 15, 7, 2, and under 2. Uh, right now, it looks like Joe Biden and Kamala Harris will be the Democratic ticket again in 2024, and Donald Trump will also be running again in 2024, which I think would be the first time that happens. Also, I believe it would be the first time, or no, it wouldn't be the first time, but it would be the first time in a very, very long time that a candidate wins their second term after their after the first their second term non-consecutively. Is what I mean. So now I'm gonna go into it. Idaho, Wyoming, Utah, North, South Dakota, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, Indiana, Missouri, Nebraska at large, Nebraska's 3rd district, Mississippi. Right now, these are my safe characterizations for the Republican Party. These will flip back and forth for the next few years, but generally, all of these states are going to go red, unless someone like Kanye West wins the nomination. For the Democratic Party, the safe states are Washington, Oregon, California, Colorado, New York, Vermont, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Maryland, D.C., Maine's 1st District, uh, and Hawaii. There's a lot of other states that are pretty much safe. Like Illinois is probably going to be around 14 points. Same with these 3 states. These 3 states, Delaware, New Jersey, and Connecticut, just tend to go a little bit less than safe sometimes, but almost always go to the Democrats and have been for like 40 years. New Mexico and Virginia. I'm not sure how the Latino shift recently is going to affect New Mexico, but it is also gaining a lot of white population recently as well, which is turning more Democrat. So I'm not really sure how New Mexico is going to shift, but between 2016 and 2020, it shifted 4 points for the Democrats. So I don't see why it would have a huge significant shift towards the other direction now. Which reminds me, Kansas is likely. Oddly enough, Kansas shifted like 8 points towards the Democrats between 2016 and 2020, which I guess it doesn't make it a Democratic shifting state in my head. It makes it more of a moderate Republican state, or Republican shifting state. Same with Montana. Montana's been doing the same thing as Kansas, but a little bit slower. South Carolina, Alaska, all of these states are moderate Republican states. These are not very far right states like Alabama and Tennessee and Kentucky. Which I think, no, never mind. Florida, Iowa, and Ohio, I don't see Republicans having any trouble here. I feel like these states could cost the Democrats the election because they still want to keep funding hundreds of thousands, or millions, tens of millions into Florida when they could be putting that into states they should definitely fund for 2024, like Nevada, Arizona, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Texas, North Carolina. North Carolina is definitely a state to look out for the Republicans. They need to worry about North Carolina. Shifted 2 points towards the Democrats. If it does it again, it's a blue state. If Georgia does the same thing, it's pretty much going to be locked down for the next 30 years for the Democrats. Same with Arizona, but I, I have these states as a lean Democrat anyway. So I don't see any reason why these states would not shift. Uh, Again, it's the same thing with Kansas and New Mexico. Why would they switch their shift randomly? It doesn't make sense. That's not how the demographics work. This is how it would work. North Carolina, I it's really hard to say whether it's going to shift enough. I do think it will shift towards the Democrats again, especially with Donald Trump. If it was, let's say, Ron DeSantis that was the main candidate with some moderate vice president, then then I would see Ron DeSantis winning North Carolina. But this is Donald Trump, too far right, not enough black vote. That's how I see that going. For the Republicans, I see them winning Wisconsin. Uh, this is probably the first time most people. This is the first time I've ever characterized Wisconsin as Republican. Not for this election, not in these videos for this election. Wisconsin, I do think, is going to go to the Republicans by around 2 or 3 points. Joe Biden won here by nothing. Nothing. Uh, Same with Pennsylvania. I also have Pennsylvania as a tilt state for the Republicans. Joe Biden had a better victory here, but it's still a red shifting state with the white working class being among the priority voters in Pennsylvania. And I don't know if Democrats can keep that up. If Republican, it may be if the Green Deal was passed or another climate change job plan was passed, that could make a lot of these states shift more. There's just all these little things over the next few years that will affect the voters. It's not going to be really the candidates. I feel like it's going to be what Joe Biden will get accomplished and what the Democratic Congress will get accomplished. It also depends on the 2022 midterms. If Pennsylvania flips red in next year, same with Wisconsin and Michigan, I have no problem thinking they will go Republican in 2024. Minnesota, I do have as going to the Democrats still, though. I think it was the biggest shifting state out of all the states last year. Uh, Went from like 1.5 points to Hillary Clinton in 2016 to like 7.5 points for Joe Biden in 2020. That is very, very good. Joe Biden increased the white vote, the minority vote, everything here. Uh, and while Minnesota will be a red state, not so far in the future, probably around 6 years, I do see Minnesota staying Democrat at least until 2024. Same with Nevada. I'm not sure how the Latino shift is going to change here either, but I don't think Donald Trump would win Nevada. Again, Ron DeSantis definitely could win Nevada by a few points. I don't know if Donald Trump could, but he looks like the most likely candidate to run for president. If he runs, no one else does in the Republican Party, and that means he secures the nomination. It's not like even if there was other opponents, he would lose it. He would definitely lose it, or win it. I meant. So yeah, Nebraska's first district. Uh, Not much to say about it. It's just moderate part of Nebraska. So that's sorry, I'm thirsty. My bad. Yeah, Nebraska's first district, a very moderate part of Nebraska. So it tends to be a lot less of a victory for Republicans here, although they usually win it nonetheless. And the reason it's more moderate is because it's around a very Democratic area, or not a very, but a very fast shifting and historically Democratic area, Maine second district. Um, so this would put the Democrats at 284 electoral votes, which is already a win. Again, I'm going to say it again. Donald Trump would not do well here. He would not do better. I don't see a reason why or technically he would, but there's a lot of areas where he would do worse. He would do worse in minorities. He would do worse in a lot of the more lawful areas than he did in 2020. It's just a whole thing. New Hampshire, again, a moderate state on both sides. Uh, Same with Maine. Again, these last few states, I'm kind of just blurting out a little bit of nonsense because these are the states that don't really matter, with all the other states being counted. And they're pretty hard to explain. Like, New Hampshire is Republican and Democrat and has strong victories for both sides every year, so I don't really know how to explain that. Uh, Maine's second district is a Republican area. I'm not going to change that. And Texas will go to the Republicans almost no matter what in 2024, with this voter restricting bill that they're still trying to pass. Democrats cannot dodge this for 3 years, so I'm gonna go ahead and just classify Texas as Republican. I feel like maybe if if voting was more accessible in Texas, I would put it as lean blue. But it's gonna need a little bit longer because even even with the voter restricting, the state is still shifting Democrat, so it's gonna be Democrat anyway. They're just delaying it. They're not keeping it Republican. They're delaying it from being Democrat. Is my point. And it's the same thing with North Carolina, but they're not trying. I haven't heard anything about them passing major bills here recently. And even if they do, North Carolina, a lot of the more black populated areas are among more of the richer ones in the country. They're not rich ones. They're just, yeah, I'm not going to get into voter laws, really. Uh, Point is, based on all the shifts in the past 20 years and how the 2020 election went and how Donald Trump's history has affected politics and how Ron DeSantis is rising, how Joe Biden's approval is shifting, uh, everything that's been going on, it all ties up to a map like this, and this is how I think it would go if it were these candidates and these scenarios. Thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna go have a drink and then record a 2022 video. I'm sorry for being a little bit more complicated and a little bit awkward towards the end, but generally, I think a lot of people uh, will find this video entertaining. If you don't agree with any of these, or if you don't agree with some of these, just let me know in the comments. I would love to argue. Bye.